Welcome to episode 18. We are still on the road and we've come down to Wigan and I've landed at the headquarters of Hayward Tree Services. Chris, thanks for coming on, mate.
No, thank you very much.
It's good to finally meet you. We've been talking on Instagram for about 3 months, possibly one of my longest relationships so far.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
But yeah, so you've had a bit of a roller coaster over the last couple of months, hence why we're now here to discover.
Yeah, hell of a year I've had.
Yeah. So we'll start off at the very beginning. I like to ask this question to everyone. How did you get started in tree surgery?
I started 8 years ago when I was 16 and I did very poorly in school. Came out with 1 GCSE. Weren't really doing much, and then my friend Jack, his stepdad, has a tree business. So he's just asked if I wanted to come labouring for the day. Went and did that. I was just turning branches over all day down the side of the road. Loved it and done it every day since.
So how long were you working for him for, freelancing wise?
I was employed to him for 3 years, self-employed, subbing for him for a year, and then went separate ways.
Where did you get all your tickets and your qualifications?
Majority of them were with him,
and
then as I've come along, I've done stuff that I'd like to do, like cherry picker and stuff like that.
Just those random ones?
Yeah, the ones
the wood chipper, the strimmer. There's probably a ticket for a backpack blower nowadays.
I bet there is. The best one I've seen is the spraying. Have you seen the
PA with tickets?
The testing for that, when you just have to walk around the field spraying the ground.
I've not had to get into any weed control stuff, thankfully. So, obviously you were employed. When did you go, all right, I've kind of had enough, I want to go on my own, how do I go about running my own business?
It was about 2 years ago, and then the work wasn't really there with other people, and then I thought I'd be better off on my own here, and then just giving it a go. Started off half and half, so I was doing 3 days a week with companies and then doing the weekends on my own, and as it went along just got better and better on the weekends, and then finally got to that stage where I thought, no, I'll start going on then.
Can you remember what your first job was?
My first job, I was in a little Peugeot 208. I had a step ladder, a pair of loppers and a bow saw, and I had to pollard 3 lime trees, and then I was there all day. Shoved it in the boot of my car, gave myself £100.
A little pat on the back for your first actual money. So obviously you're working for yourself, you're driving around in your Peugeot, you got your loppers. What was the first big purchase for yourself?
Oh, it must have been a 201 that was absolutely battered, and I think I bought it for 150 quid. Yeah, and that was a massive step for me, because I've worked for 6 years, and then I've never actually had my own saw, so this was a big thing for me like that.
Did you take your own cleaner, strip it all down, make sure it was absolutely pristine?
Yeah, and then it never worked.
So obviously a lot of businesses don't ever mention if there are any dry patches or if the work went quiet for a while. Did that ever happen to you?
Definitely at first. Obviously, my main thing's word of mouth. I think that's the best way to get around. But obviously, it doesn't always work like that. And then when it starts to get you've only got a week in front in the diary, do start to worry a little bit. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, 10 calls are coming in and you think, I could do with that being quiet again now.
When you've a couple of jobs under your belt, where did you start going, right, I need to earn this much, I've got to put this much to the side to keep on top of the equipment, I need to make sure I've got this little bit to the side. How did you get to that rough number for each job?
Through people I've worked from, gained a lot from them. And I think at the end of the day, if you're happy with what you're going home with, then you're doing all right. Some days I don't pay myself a wage. I just try and get by and just make sure that my business can grow as quick as it can. But also making sure I've got money to enjoy myself. I go pub quite a lot. But don't go spending daft money on things. Make sure that the business is growing.
Yeah. How many times have you undercut yourself?
Oh, too many. Too many where we were on a site in Horwich the other week. I thought it'd be a day's job. And then it was 2 days, and the job actually ended up costing me 1,200 quid.
You're still making those mistakes now. How many years are you into it again?
Yeah.
It happens though, mate. It does happen. Another big thing that when we first got talking was branding. Now, you look at your van behind us, and it stands out, and it stands out in a really, really good way.
It's a beauty.
What's with the lion, mate? It's not a tree.
With the lion, there's a two-part story to it. Obviously, the professional story is it's a proud animal, isn't it? It stands out, like you say. It's very eye-catching, and it is made out of wood and leaves. It's also part of Salford Lion. Yeah. And the other story of it is my sister, Laura Jane Media, gave me 4 designs, and this was my favourite one.
Favourite one from it. So a family affair, getting a bit of cheap labour into brand up the company.
Yeah.
Even the text on it as well. The text isn't like your typical type that you'd see.
No, because I've seen a lot of vans where they've plastered it with stuff. So for me, simple the better. And I think that does it. You do just remember that.
It does stand out because we were coming down the East Lancs a couple of weeks ago, and you were in Subway. And we just started talking to each other, and we're going down, and I just look to the left and go, "Sure, that's Chris's van." And it'll turn around again, and the lights will change green. But it does stand out massively.
Yeah.
Which is what you want, because you want people to go, "Oh, what was the guy with the lion? Oh, that was at Hayward Tree Services."
Yeah, so I think that's a key thing, branding and everything like that. If you've got a name for it there that people recognise.
What have you got on your van? Because I walked past it before. You don't know I've done this. You've got your own little air freshener with Hayward Tree Services on. That is a ballsy move, that, mate.
That every tree surgeon just have one of them in their own van. And if you want a Hayward Trees one, go on website.
You've actually got one on your website?
No, I bet.
But yeah, I've seen it.
It probably lost its smell about 2
Smells
years ago.
Two-stroke. Smells a two-stroke.
No, that's the scent. That's the scent I went for. Yeah.
So talking about expanding, obviously there's no page anymore. We've got a van behind us. How many people now work for you?
It's me and Nico and Jordan mainly, and then there's 3 other lads. But obviously, because at the minute with everything, can't give them as much work as I'd like to. We're just smalling down, but yeah, there's 6 of us all in all, and I get my dad out of retirement sometimes.
Have you had the same experience of everyone else in the industry? You're struggling to find decent lads.
Yeah, I've always thought, well, obviously as I've got older, is if you're good enough, you're either too busy or you do it yourself. The lads I've got in a minute, Nico's amazing, love him. He's like my right-hand man, but he's only young in the industry. So my idea is for the business to grow with me and him. Jordan only just recently started, but an absolute grafter. So I think the best way to get lads is you get the ones that are inexperienced, and it will be stressful at first, but you teach them to go your way and build them up.
Yeah. Do you still get emails with lads who are coming out to the local colleges saying, "Oh, can I come work for you? Can I come start with you? I've got all these qualifications." Do you look at the piece of paper and go, "Okay, great, you've got all of this, come for a trial day"? Or do you do what I used to do in the past of going, "All right, I've looked at your piece of paper, I've put it to the side, come on a day out with us, let me see what you're actually made of, to see if you'll gel with the team and if you're actually what you are," because everyone's way better than a piece of paper that they present to you.
Yeah, because qualifications are good to get you there, but it doesn't show you what type of person you are. You could be amazing in a tree, but if the lads don't like you, they're not going to work for you.
No.
So I think your relationship is a big factor in it. Massively.
You ever hired in any subbies and went, "Oh, that was a mistake, never again"?
Yeah, well, I won't name them, but yeah, definitely.
Obviously, growing your business is of like a real, I wouldn't say pain point, but something that you really enjoy and you really thrive on. Do you read any like books or anything, or do you speak to other tree surgeons and get advice from them?
I got halfway through one book, not much of a reader, that's why I cut trees. I think it was that chimp management thing. I don't know if have you read it?
Mate, you are the third
paradox, chimp paradox.
Literally today, I was reading it this afternoon. I got about 2 weeks ago. I was reading it this afternoon. Then one of my friends just randomly went, "Oh, I've just finished that chimp paradox book." I went, I'm reading it, and every time something happens, I'm going, "Chimp."
Yeah, and it's half chimp and half human.
Oh my God, the fact that I was saying, I think it's only Scousers. Obviously, you're not a full-on Scouser. We'll let that slide. But my mate's a Scouser, and she went, "Oh yeah, I just absolutely love it." I said to my missus before as we were driving over, "I think the book's just made for people in Liverpool." That's all I know who's reading it at the moment.
Oh, it's a good book. It's just I can't read for longer than 10 minutes.
I think it's probably the thickest book I actually own. The rest of my books, the only ones that are bigger like tree identification books.
Those,
like
the one in my van, tree identification, you can't even get through that. Just Google it. But no, I speak to people I've worked with, Jack Olden. He's a good mate of mine, get a lot of advice from him. Previous people I've worked with, Arbworks, they've been amazing. Yeah, and I've got my mate Charlie, he's amazing. Comes down and helps me whenever I need. If I don't have the van, he'll come down. If I don't have a chipper, he'll come down. So
any rough patches.
Having mates in the industry is a massive help.
So when you see another tree surgeon on the road, do you do what I know a lot of people in the industry go, why is he on my patch? You shouldn't be on my patch.
No,
or are you like me and go, oh, you're all right, mate. I've not
you
seen
have
you
to
for
wave, and then when they don't wave back, you go, right, that's him. Undercut him. I don't undercut them, but...
So seeing that you kind of like struggled in secondary school, you've got a business, you're doing quite all right. Do you actually have a business plan?
Yeah, it's not a plan. I think if you plan it too much, then you get upset or annoyed that it's not going to plan.
Yeah.
But obviously my next plan would be to have a full yard where I'm processing my own stuff and everything, and then just get more vans, more team, more of a family together, and then just pretty much take over the Northwest and move on from there.
So I'm taking over the Northwest now.
Yeah.
I think I'll become one of your area managers eventually.
Yeah.
So you have your good days and your bad days. What are the worst things about running your business?
Oh, yeah, the days when don't feel like you're earning, the customers that don't pay, the stress of getting home, and even like the lads who just think, yeah, he's just getting all the money and then he's going home and then he's going pub, but you're not. You're just stressing like mad. You're sorting applications out, paperwork and stuff like that, and then stress with the missus. But part of it's my fault because we'll sat there watching TV. I'll say I'm working, but I'm just watching videos on Instagram of trees being felled.
Just watching tree porn like the rest of us do in the industry. How do you deal with non-paying clients? Because I've done it certain ways. I've listened to other people, tucked the waist back, tipped on the driveway.
Yeah, I've always threatened that.
It doesn't work. It don't work.
I've never threatened a customer with that. The thing that I've learned is, if you joke about with a customer about paying, sometimes that helps. Yeah. So if I say to them, oh, I've got this customer, obviously don't bring it up out of the blue, drop it in conversation, and then sometimes that just seems to push them along. But some people just don't want to pay. Yeah,
they just get you in, and then you go back and go, we got Mercedes on your driveway.
Yeah.
I've just come in, done all your trees, you've got a really nice garden. Why are you not paying again?
Oh. And then it's like, why would you get a tradesman in and not have the funds there to pay them straight away? Well, obviously some people have different circumstances. The best one that I've got used to now is people don't like paying on a weekend. So if I do a job on like a Thursday or a Friday and they've not paid, yours usually come in on a Monday. It's just they don't like doing it on the weekend.
That's a lot. I can't say I've actually noticed that. All right. What's your next big purchase for the business?
I've got the new chipper on the way, if that's what you mean.
We're going to talk about that later.
Right. Probably a van. I love this van. Anzit, I call it, because it's missing the TR on the side. But, yeah, I think it's about time I got myself a new van.
Let me go. Vans in the industry, let me guess, 3.5 ton grafter.
Yeah, you know it.
Everyone's going for the grafter at the moment. I just don't like the look of it. Because I think if you get into an accident, you're going through that windscreen. With the trannies, you've at least got a bit of a bumper on the front. Yeah, I just think times are changing, because obviously it's gone from plywood on the back to alloy on the back to good backs. And then, I just see the transit as the old time. Everything's changing quickly, isn't it? We're going to electric saws and stuff like that. What do you enjoy most about working in the industry? No, everything. Absolutely love trees, me. Well, hate trees. Love trees, hate trees. Yeah. You know what I mean? But just working outside. The best thing about our job in this industry is no day's the same. I could not imagine going to an office every day and staring at the same clock thinking... Exactly the same. And then thinking, right, I only have to get to 5 o'clock, then I'm done. We can get to a tree. The quicker we do it, quicker we get to go home. It's just everything about it. Yeah. There's been times where I've got to like the top of a tree done as much as I can, waiting for the lad to catch up with the chipper. I've had a snooze in the tree.
No, when I used to smoke, that was the best part of my day, that.
Yeah, you lay back in the harness and you just go, right, I'll know when the chipper dies down, I've got to start dropping again. Absolutely love it. What's the biggest mistake you've made running your business?
Oh, that's actually a really tricky question, that. I've made quite a lot of mistakes. I think you just take them as learning curves, so I wouldn't like to say a big mistake, because I haven't actually. Yeah. Well, there's the obvious stuff. I think we'll get to that.
Yes.
But yeah, it's learning curves. They're not mistakes, they're learning curves.
Okay, so you've learned from your learning curves. Do you have any advice for either lads who are a little bit younger than us, maybe around the 23, 24 mark, who are thinking...
I am 24.
Oh, yeah, I forgot you're 24, aren't you? You look older than me. So
I've had baby face all my life. I got ID from Monster Energy the other day.
All right, so lads who are your age then, because obviously I'm older than you, what advice could you give them?
Make sure, if they want to start their own business, make sure you're ready, because there's a lot more to it than you think. It's not just get a van, get a chipper, go to work. Definitely not, which is kind of what I thought. You think you know a lot more than you do. Yeah. But go for it.
Yeah, because it comes down, because one of my best mistakes is, we've gone to the petrol station, filled up, we've got to a site. Anyone seen a two-stroke anywhere? I've not ordered any. Right, because we were based in the East Midlands, everything was about a 20-minute drive away. So we've all rocked up on site. Obviously, the business owner's got to make sure you've got everything, even files. You don't even think that you need to get files at least like every couple of weeks.
There we go. There's my biggest mistake. We went and did a big stem in Stockport, which is 40 minutes from here. Got halfway through the stem, hit metal.
Oh, lovely.
Massive stem. We were there all day, and then went to the van, didn't bring the files.
Oh, well done.
So I had to find every little gardening shop in Stockport, and if you're from Stockport, you know there are no shops around there use. And then go to this Lee Mowers or something like that, and he had one 5.5 mil file left.
Did you not think, right, I'll just ring Manchester Street Station, I can just come over and just get for 5 minutes? Oh. Right, mate, the main story why we are here.
My biggest mistake.
It wasn't your biggest mistake, you didn't realise it happens in the industry as often as it does. Yeah. On the 8th of June, now correct me if I'm wrong, you came home from work, you parked the van up and the chipper on the driveway, you went into the house, and you said to yourself, like, we've all done it, I'm just as guilty, I'll go empty the van in 10 minutes.
Yeah. So, it was a very hot day, so yeah, you can't wait to get out your boots and pants. I even cancelled my quotes. I was working a couple of doors up the road from where I live, so I've just thought, I'll just sort the stuff out later. I'll go speak to them and get it all done. And then, yeah, later never really came. Yeah. But that's just... I think even now, days I have now, where I think this is about the time I'd do that again. Yeah. But obviously you've learned. So what actually happened? Well, my girlfriend's come home from work, and then we've been sat in the front room, and then all I hear is tyres screeching. And I've always been a bit paranoid, even though I did this mistake, I've always been a bit paranoid. So I've ran to the curtains, and I've just seen my van, my chipper, and all my tools driving down the road. So I've turned around to my missus, and then I've gone, that's my van and chipper. She's like, fuck off. And I'm like, no, that's my van and chipper. Yeah. So running around the house trying to find the keys. I thought they've took my van keys, that's how they've got in. Couldn't find them, so I jumped in my missus' car. I've got a t-shirt on, bockers and bare feet, and then chasing them down the road, but obviously they're long gone by this point. Yeah, and that's when I realised everything pretty much gone. So do you think you were watching beforehand? Yeah, because what I found out since everything's happened is what they do is they get a scrapyard key, and they can plug it into the side of the van and get the code for it from that. So they must have done that a few days before or a few weeks, and then they've been watching, which is probably one of the scariest bits, is you're being watched without even being known. That's sickening, that. Yeah, so that's So we've had to leave that house. Obviously, my girlfriend didn't want to stay there, and I didn't want to stay there.
Yeah.
So we've left that house.
Did you ring the police by any chance?
I didn't, because I know what they're like.
Yeah, same.
I know they're underfunded, but they're also useless. So my girlfriend rang them as we're chasing them down the road.
So you're still chasing them down the road at this point?
I can't see them, but I'm following the way that they've gone.
Yeah, you think, right, if it was me, I'd probably go this way down.
Yeah, so then I've gone like that, and then my missus said, we'll ring the police. I went, well, you do it.
Yeah.
So she's rang the police, and then they've gone, yeah, we'll ring you back in 10 minutes. So...
Let me guess, didn't ring you back in 10 minutes?
No, so we're driving about all night, pizza's burning in the oven, driving around to different places where I've been tipped off it is.
Yeah.
Because we all know the kind of people that have took it. So driving around all them places, still nothing from the police. 3 hours later, we ring them, and we say, well, you've not rang us. And the police go, yeah, well, we're not going to ring you back straight away, are we?
I'm chasing my livelihood down the road.
There's 22 grand's worth of kit here, gone, and you're saying, oh, whatever.
Yeah, and GMP are just like, oh, yeah, well, it's gone.
If it's not to do with Corona or speeding.
I bet if you went, oh, they've nicked me van, but they didn't have any face masks on.
Yeah.
Oh, helicopters out, dog unit, all sorts.
Or if the van weren't taxed, oh, we're straight on it.
Oh, yeah, definitely onto it. From what I've read in the news and what you've told me, there's a member of the public that actually rang you up and went, I've just found your van at the side of the road.
Yeah, so it was found in Wigan. This lovely woman, I don't know her name, but thank you very much. She rang me up and said, is this your van? And obviously I've had no sleep at this point or anything like that. But yeah, she was on her way to work, spotted the van, rang the number, and she stayed with that van. She was late to work, stayed with that van till I got there.
What condition was it in?
They absolutely destroyed it. So they ripped the back doors off. I've had it fixed.
Yeah.
And they ripped the insides out and they busted all the locks on the lockbox. Just absolute.
Well, when you got, was it just gutted? Everything gone?
It didn't really sink in. Or it did and it didn't. When we were driving about, it was like, wow, that's just everything I've worked for gone in like a second. All that money, all that hard work, just gone. And for what? For them to make like a few quid off it.
Well, they made more than a few quid, because did they ring you the same day or a couple of days afterwards?
They rang me the next morning.
So the thieves basically went, well, we'll take a picture of your mobile number. And with that ballsy, because we know the police aren't coming for us, we'll ring you. And what did they say to you?
And then they've said to me, you can have your van and chipper back for $7,000. So, stupidly for me, I said to them, well, I've already got my van back. Because we know how they do it. They dump the van somewhere and they'll come back to it.
Just in case there's any trackers on it or anything, or if it's being watched.
Yeah, which would have helped. And then, so I went and met them, gave them $3,500 cash. They took me to their yard, and then they've said it's in the back of the yard, but you have to go in there and get it on your own, and it's another $3,500 if you want to walk in there. So at that point, I thought, I've come this far, I'm not hurt. It was me and my dad, actually. My dad was a massive help that day, like he always is. And we just thought, well, let's just go home and get past this now. So that's my advice to anyone. If it happens to anyone now, which it most likely will, it's a massive issue in this country, is just tell them to F off on phone. Can I swear?
Yeah, you can. This one, mate, it's your business. You can swear on this one. I'll square it up with the advertisers. But I'm trying to get my head over it. You stood there in front of him. Obviously, you've basically just lost your business, and you went, look, there's $3,500.
And he shook my hand and said, it's just business, mate.
It's just business.
It's just business. He said, it won't happen to you again. If you pass me the money now, it's not going to happen to you again. But I've had no sleep or nothing. Yeah. And, like, this guy's scrawny as, do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying I'm handy, but if it was a lad in a pub, it's a different story, innit? But no, this is... And with them threatening me, saying they know where I live and stuff like that, I've got my girlfriend to think of and everything like that.
It's business.
That's just how they work, innit?
So if you get done over again, do you have like a little hotline number that you can ring and go, you've done me over again, lads, you need to bring your stuff back. Oh, sorry, Chris.
Sorry, wrong one.
What were we thinking? We weren't meant to do you this time.
Well, that comes back to their branding, doesn't it? They know that lion now, so...
At least now you can actually laugh at it, because you've bought some stuff. We'll talk about your GoFundMe page in a little bit. And also forced have come to the rescue as well, haven't they?
Force, my knight in shining armour.
So before we go on to Force, you did have a Timberwolf. What was it, 230?
Timberwolf 230, yeah.
Timberwolf 230, that's now probably down south somewhere.
Yeah, 100%.
You're not going with Timberwolf again, why?
No. And I tried to get a Timberwolf, didn't get any response. And then Russell from Forced, Russell Fletcher, amazing guy, rang me up the week I was robbed, and then he said, we can help you out as much as we can. We can lend you a chipper till you get back on your feet. And then, so I didn't accept that because I know we'll come to the GoFundMe thing, but I don't want a sob story or anything, even though I'm here.
Yeah, you're here on the podcast, give us a sob story.
Yeah, but no, and now I've decided to buy one from Forced, and they've just given me an amazing deal, and yeah, it's massive helpful. I've never had a Force before, but I've heard good things, and I'm excited to get it.
What have you gone with, an ST6?
ST6, yeah.
Went with that one, the most common one out there. So, your GoFundMe page, you've raised, when we look, you raised about $4,500 from it. For anyone who's thinking, yeah, you know what, I'll donate to Chris, I'll help him out a little bit. You've not just taken the money and went to the pub with it, have you?
No, definitely not.
What have you spent the money on?
Well, first, because I like to say I'm not a sob story, it was my friend Johnny that set that up, because I didn't want anything like that. Yeah. I didn't think anyone would donate something like that, because they'd be like, well, it's just a business, that's just what happens. Right. But yeah, Johnny set that up, and then straight away when I got that money, I went straight to Seddon's and bought 3 chainsaws, 2 climbing kits and a lowering kit. Just so I could go back to work.
Walking in and went, ka-ching.
Yeah.
They were happy that day. So what have you actually bought? Because I can see a lovely fuel-injected chainsaw.
Oh, my baby, my 500. I actually bought that for that big stem in Stockport. That's the one that I hit a nail with straight away. So I've got the 500, which I didn't get at first because it's a luxury item. But
it is.
Once you've had one, you can't last long without one.
No. It's like I was really lucky. I say this to everyone. I was like one of the first people to go in the UK. I picked her up and I revved it and went, oh. Yeah. And it's been a while since I've picked up a chainsaw and went, oh, this is different. We went out, we smashed a load of pops out with it. I think we did about 25 pops in one day.
But I love the 362, and I think it's just a 362 with a lot more power and then just a lot nicer cutting.
I don't think I've ever used a 3 series still. I've used 440s, 660s, 2.6.
Well, for weight ratio power,
yeah,
it's similar, but obviously it's a lot better. But I absolutely adore it.
Do you just use it for everything for the time being?
Yeah, I'll do a little ash like that. Get 500 out, lads.
What bar are you running on it?
25.
25. Where else are you going to be buying this year?
I'll be buying as in saw-wise or vehicle? Or?
Just kit-wise.
I'm picking up a 201 tomorrow. I'd love a 200, but they just seem to be
rare as rocking horse.
And if you do get one, they run like 600 quid for it, and then that's for rebuilds and stuff like that.
Like little gold dust things nowadays. So you've been robbed. You managed to get the van back. You got a chipper coming in a couple of weeks' time. You're rebuilding your business. What's next for Hayward Tree Services?
Get through this year. Take it as one crazy year, and then next year. Gun it, go for it. Go back from where I was before I got robbed, when I was just absolutely gunning it. Everything to do with me is my business, so just go for it and just hopefully see the business grow. Yeah.
Now, you said you're not a sob story and all that stuff, but we've got advertisers, and a big, big thank you to Mediarb. Mediarb have actually hooked you up with one of their trauma first aid kits. So that's for you, bud.
Like your birthday.
And then what we're going to do as well, all things are, we are going to give you, we'll talk off camera, but we'll cover your first month's finance for the chipper for you, mate.
No.
Yeah. Just because our community is going to come together and we're going to help you out.
Oh, that's absolutely amazing. Thank you very much.
No worries, mate. You're most welcome. So any other advertisers, I'm going to be reaching out to you guys to say, can we get some more stuff? Let's get Chris back on the road, get him going again. Right, quick fire round. So, new things to the podcast. Did it on the last one. It kind of worked, so we're going to try it again. So, 5 questions. APF or ARB show?
I've only ever done the APF.
What did you think of it?
It was all right.
It was all right. Electric chainsaws or petrol ones?
Petrol, because I am petrol already, but I do like the idea of electric, but I'm waiting for that next generation to come out before I go for it.
Good stuff. Like, you've got a Transit, but this one's going to be a little bit different. Transit or Isuzu?
Anzit, I love you, but it's an Isuzu for me next.
And then this one's even better. Forced or Timberwolves?
Forced. Forced have been amazing. I'm going to go for Forced. I love Timberwolf, but no, Forced is my new.
You've gone to the slightly darker side.
Yeah.
Mate, you'll have Husqvarnas next, won't you?
Oh, you don't want to see the van.
And then last one, commercial or domestic work?
Domestic. Because you get to interact with people, yeah. You do get the odd knobhead, but no.
So, mate, Chris, how can people connect with you on Instagram?
At Hayward Tree Services, follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We do try to keep up to date as much as we can, and happy to work with any tree surgeons in the area if they want to get together, or if you're just watching, if you need any trees doing, call me.
And Chris, thank you very much for coming on, mate.
No, thank you very much.